A map is a two-dimensional representation with arbitrary symbols and incised lines that decide who is to be our enemy and who is to be our friend, who deserves our love and who deserves our hatred, and who our sheer indifference. We need to talk about this book. Hi, I'm Zita Bano and welcome to my channel. I think categorizing this book is almost impossible because this book is multifaceted and multidimensional. This book is about a tree, this book is about colonial history, this book is about trauma, this book is about romance, this book is about teenage problems as well. So basically, The Island of Missing Trees, the story itself is narrated by a fig tree. So the fig tree watches the love between Daphne and Kota's bloom. They're living on an island, Cyprus, which is divided on ethnical and religious bases, and their love is sort of an abomination because one of them is a Turk and one of them is a Greek. Then we see how the two of them get separated and Kota's move to London and what happens in the island. As the story moves forward, we see how they reconnect and how they become parents of a daughter. So we sort of follow two timelines in this book. One is about Daphne and Kota's and when they were young. In the other timeline, which is the present one, we see their daughter Ada all grown up. I tried my best, but I know for sure that I have given a very simplistic overview of this complex and fascinating book. When I started reading it, in the very beginning of this book, the story of Cyprus is described, and the story resonated so well with me because I am from subcontinent and we have a colonial history. India and Pakistan was divided on ethnical and religious basis, and this is just beyond me because we lived together for centuries. How did the religious and ethnic divide only happened after the advent of British? So of course I was reading something which I already feel strongly about the colonial history and about the impacts of that colonial legacy. And there were two scenes in this book that I think I will remember for the rest of my life, even if I don't ever read this book again. One scene was when Ada starts screaming because there are so many pent-up emotions inside of her and she is unable to explain what she is going through, the trauma. So she starts screaming and she keeps on screaming until she runs out of breath. And even thinking about this very scene, I have goosebumps, and when I was reading it, I had goosebumps. And this is the scene that I think that I will carry with me for the rest of my life. And the second scene was when fruit bats, because of the extreme heat wave, they start falling dead on the ground. Kotas tries to catch them and he tries to bury them, and then in the later paragraph, Elif Shafak writes that when there is something miserable, something so catastrophic happening around you, and that is happening to people, and if you care anything about anything else, people start thinking that you are not sympathetic towards them. And I just felt it in my heart because I am someone who's always teaching people around me animal rights, and sometimes people tell me that what is happening in the world, people are dying, and here you are talking about dogs, you don't care about the people. And I don't know what to say to them, because it's not like I don't care about people, but it's that I also care about animals. So this scene definitely had a huge impact on me. One thing that I enjoyed the most in this book was Ada's aunt Mariam's proverb. So one of my favorite is, if a stone falls on an egg, it is bad for the egg. If an egg falls on a stone, it is still bad for the egg. And this is just so true because life is unfair and we just have to accept that. Okay, lastly, do I recommend this book? I would recommend this book to almost everyone, but I would specifically recommend this to people who are living in states with colonial history, because I definitely think it will resonate well with you, and also the people who love trees. Like I am a person, whenever I look at these huge trees, first of all, I am awestruck, and secondly, I just want to talk to them. I just want to communicate with them. And again, this story is narrated by a tree, so there are a lot of things that you understand about trees. So if you are someone who loves nature, who loves tree, you are most definitely going to love this book. So yeah, that's about it. See you next time with another book.